Okay, I should be live. So, hey everybody, welcome back to another little bit of daily casting practice. As always, I'm Baseskip. This is going to be another game from the International Preliminaries, since there hasn't been a whole lot of other Dota 2 going on at the moment, or at least Dota 2 that I can get access to cast. So, it's going to be Game 2 of CLG versus Zenith. I did Game 1 yesterday as a little bit of late night casting practice, and so just going to finish off the set now. So CLG are going to be over on the Radiant side, Zenith on the Dire, and we're going to be getting straight into this draft. As always, if you guys have any content whatsoever that you'd like me to cast, or guides made, anything like that, comments on your own replays, just feel free to send me whatever on YouTube, on Reddit, on my email, and well, don't really have all that much to say. Hopefully I'll be picking up the Starladder ticket that'll be coming out very soon. So hopefully I'll be doing a little bit more live casting. But regardless of what's happening, I'm hoping to again still be doing daily practice. Little bit of disclaimer as well, I guess. I do know one or two of the picks from this game, just because they were commented on because of how interesting they sort of were, so won't act like I'm seeing some of these picks coming, but we'll still just discuss and hopefully walk through the draft. A little bit of practice for me, maybe a little bit of information for people who aren't all that familiar with the metagame at the moment. So Lycan, Leshrac, Nature's Prophet, and Naga Siren banned out right now. In terms of sort of quote-unquote power heroes still left in the pool, we've still got the Darkseer, there's still the Invoker, and we'll have to see what ends up making it through. With only two of them left, it's likely going to be one banned out by each, but it really comes down to CLG to make the decision here. So Rubik actually is going to be the ban, so we have been seeing Rubik creeping more and more into that sort of first big ban, and letting a team first pick a Rubik is, well, it's really unfortunate, because all of a sudden it shrinks the pool of heroes that you can feel comfortable picking, and especially things like the Enigma are just sort of completely taken, well, almost completely taken off the map when the enemy team picks up a Rubik so early, because you just cannot feel comfortable taking it. So Venomancer is going to be the ban by Zenith. So Darkseer and Invoker both make it through. More than likely, you're going to see each team pick up one of them. And so CLG now have to make the decision about whether they want Darkseer or Invoker. And well, we'll have to see what they opt for. It really depends on how they want to play the rest of their lanes this game, and even just coming off the back of the last game, seeing what sort of style they're gonna want to go for. Oh, another note, I guess, is that I bumped up my audio bitrate a little bit for this cast, so hopefully it won't be all too laggy, and hopefully it cleans up the audio quality just a little bit, because it should be really good given my microphone, but as always, the Australian internet is a bit of a bottleneck. But anyway, so CLG have opted to take Chen, and so Zenith, as I mentioned, have taken the two heroes that I mentioned earlier, so Darkseer and the Invoker. So it fixes their lanes a little bit right off the bat, but Darkseer is such a ridiculously strong hard lane solo that you're not really all that concerned about it. And we'll see what CLG pick off the back of this Chen pickup. So they've obviously got a really good strong jungler. They've got a great potential to just sort of shoot straight towards that, straight towards the late game. Use the XP and gold advantage from the Chen. Get some sort of mid game pushes going. Chen, as always, not quite as aggressive a ganker early on as maybe the Enchantress, but still great ganking potential for him early game. And again, Chen just doesn't quite drop off in the same way that Enchantress does. Hand of God is gonna have a role all game, and using the Holy Persuasion as well to send people back to base is just so ridiculously strong in team fights. And so CLG, they've got completely whatever they want to throw in the rest of their lanes. So they definitely got the jungler, so they're going to have to sort of look for a solo mid and maybe a hard lane support, given that Chen isn't really the greatest aggressive jungler. So the Chen pickups does sort of fix their lanes as well, similar to how Zenith with the Darkseer and Invoker, sort of giving away that probably going to have Invoker soloing mid and Darkseer in that hard lane. But Morphling going to be taken by CLG, so as always, could see him on the safe lane farming up just under the watchful eye of Chen, or maybe just heading straight towards that middle lane. And CLG going to pick up a lot of aquatic heroes this game. Zenith responding with the anti-mage. I know that some people mention that Morphling is, reasonably good against anti-mage because you can always just use the replicate to sort of turn his farm back at him a little bit. But Morphling, his big strength, and I think the big thing that most people are most concerned about him right now is just how strong Morph strength is. It's so ridiculously difficult to kill a Morphling if he's morphing strength, and even if you get the drop on him, he's allowed to toggle it on and start morphing even when he's stunned. So it's very difficult to stop. But the anti-mage with the mana burn means that he doesn't have quite as much potential strength to swap over. The mana cost on morph strength being at least a little bit restrictive. And so Enchantress going to be banned out by CLG, so not wanting the potential for a little bit of an aggressive jungle that could mess with that Chen pick, and with first picking it, they really should be hoping to get quite a bit out of it. I mean, giving away not giving away, but letting Zenith have Darkseer and Invoker in exchange. I think Chen really needs to show that he was worth the first pick. But Ake on his Chen, always fantastic, so it should be absolutely no problem. And so Sand King banned out by CLG, so maybe fearing a little bit more wombo combo on top of the Darkseer vacuum, and Windrunner the last ban for Zenith, so maybe thinking that Tidehunter not going to be in the hard lane solo this game, as we do see people like Hannah Montana run Tidehunter in that hard lane. But Storm Spirit going to be picked up, so it's starting to look like Storm heading towards mid, maybe Morphling on the safe lane, backed up by Tidehunter, Chen in the jungle, and then all CLG need now is a hard lane solo. In terms of hard lane solos left, there's still the Lone Druid. Not sure how well it fits into CLG's lineup, given that they've already got such a big farmer on the Morphling. The Beastmaster, as always, is there, and Beastmaster's just such a fantastic all-rounder. All of his skills are great. The aura scales fantastically into late game, and he just brings so much utility with the Call of the Wild. So we'll see if he is the choice. And as always, Windrunner, that other really great hard lane solo, has been banned out. So we'll have to see what CLG opt for. They did ban out the Enchantress, so maybe they can put Chen in an aggressive jungle situation now, but we'll have to see what they do. Zenith maybe going to be picking up a little bit. Oh, actually no, I know what Zenith pick up. Sorry, as I mentioned, I've seen the draft. So Disruptor and Axe are actually the last two pickups for Zenith, and Broodmother going to be finishing up CLG's lineup. So probably gonna, I'm not sure, might see, well, Broodmother's definitely going to be soloing lane, so Chen, Morphling, and Tidehunter are definitely going to be together. It just comes down to a question of, is Brood going to be on that safe lane, or is she going to be on hard lane? Darkseer more than likely going to be taking that hard lane, so maybe not going to put the Broodmother down there on the safe lane. Spiderlings will just get wiped out by the Ion Shell, so probably just going to see her soloing up on the hard lane. And CLG picking up a lot of Orchid carriers. Storm Spirit, as always, a great counter to Anti-Mage. It's one of the best Orchid carriers in the game. Can just max out that Vortex as well for a lot of chain disable on the Anti-Mage, and it makes him far more killable. And the Broodmother as well, we'll have to see if she opts for an Orchid this game too, just to try and shut down the Darkseer, Invoker, Anti-Mage, and even the Disruptor. Any of these heroes, if you can just get a good silence off on them, it can completely change the tide of a team fight. Or maybe see her go for maybe a little bit of a Manta, or something like that, a little bit more aggressive in terms of the pushing. But there we go. So as I mentioned, Axe is going to be the last pickup for Zenith. So I'm not quite sure how they ran this Axe, but Darkseer and Axe is an absolutely brutal backlane combination, and with the Disruptor you can always just shut down TP support coming in from other lanes. So there's good push potential there, and also with the vacuum you can get big multi-hero calls off on the Axe as well, and the call duration is enough for the kinetic field to set up as well. So we will have to see how this pick works out for Zenith. And yeah, I'm interested to see how they run him. Might end up in the jungle, or maybe they'll end up running well, no, maybe not running in an aggressive tri-lane. We'll have to see. But anyway, over on Zenith, we've got XY playing the Disruptor, HY is going to be on the Invoker, X Freedom is going to be on Axe, Loda on the Darkseer, and over on CLG, we've got Misery on Storm Spirit, who's looking a little bit silly since his model has been broken down since this replay was since this game was played. Ake, as always, as expected, is going to be on that Chen. Lacoste on the Broodmother. Miracle is going to be on that Tidehunter, and that leaves Pycat to play the Morphling. And actually no, so this is why I really shouldn't try and predict picks, because for some reason I'm predict lanes, because for some reason I'm woeful at it. Misery probably going to be the safe lane farmer down on bot. Pycat heading towards mid. Lacoste is actually going to be on that hard lane solo as the Broodmother. And we'll see how Zenith are setting up right now. So it looks like Loda is going to be in that hard lane solo. HY on mid as the Invoker, and that leaves X Freedom, XY, and Ice to be heading up towards top lane. And maybe see a little bit of backlaning, maybe see Axe doing a little bit of jungling. And Zenith just staking their claim to this very first turn. And we'll see if Ice actually opts to grab... No, X Freedom's just going to grab it. He's got the counter helix, so it'll help him clean out a camp quite easily if he's heading into the jungle. And I guess one last note is that, apologies guys, I am a little bit sick, so still getting over that. So if my voice is a little bit weird, or if I'm coughing and sniffling during the cast, I'm really sorry about that. But anyway, so X Freedom waiting for this very first camp to spawn. Should be no problem whatsoever to clean it up with these illusions. It's a really big boon for Axe early game. And even from a level 1 camp, if you don't get lucky spins, you can take almost a full salve's worth of damage. Axe definitely needs a few levels to get going in the jungle. But up on top lane, Lacoste not going to have a great time early on, and we've already got a sentry ward down for Zenith, so we'll see if Lacoste gets some sentries sent up for himself, just to try and get safe and get some more farm, because right now Ice is going to be fine just to keep him off this lane. And XY stacking and pulling already, so Lacoste not going to have a whole lot of XP. First 2 creep waves are heading towards him now, but yeah, and so now under his tower, so should be able to get a little bit of farm, but this entire wave is going to be denied by the double pull. Pycat on mid, already taking a ton of harass from HY waveform forward, doing quite a bit of damage, and he's already morphed a little bit of agi across as well, so doing really great right click damage. And I will just pull up last synchronize for the first little bit of the game. Axe obviously, actually no, I will go net worth just from the start of the game. We've got junglers on both sides, and it's just gonna and a Broodmother in the game, so it's just gonna leave the last hits denies a little bit inaccurate. So we'll just go net worth from the very start. I mean, the only real reason to sort of look at last hits and denies is from people who are more familiar with Warcraft 3 Dota. It was really the only metric that we had to sort of compare, and at the same time, jungle creeps didn't show up in your creep scores, so Warcraft 3 Dota players just, it instantly translates to sort of good farm, bad farm in terms of the last hits per minute. So you know, 5, 6, that sort of creep score per minute is absolutely fantastic. 3 is sort of average, and getting below that is reasonably low if you're getting sort of shut down and not able to get near the creep wave. And still no counter wards up on top for CLG, so Lacoste getting harassed back quite badly, and another sentry down already, so just trying to stay in XP range right now, but not gonna be able to get any farm except for right underneath this tower. As soon as he's got that soul ring up, he's gonna be able to push Disruptor sort of out of the lane with the spawn Spiderling spam, but until that point he's gonna face some reasonably heavy harass. The web regen's gonna be able to keep him up, but it's all really about just finding that farm. But Broodmother, as always, you know, game plan for a Brood is just sit in the lane and farm up, push towers whenever Zenith are drawn away to another lane. But we'll have to see if that's before they manage to grab these first 2 towers on top. And there's definitely the potential there for them to do it with the Axe, the Disruptor, and the Anti-Mage. A little bit of engagement on towards mid for the 4-minute rune. And did Pycat manage to grab it? Not sure. And LD perhaps just reminding Limmy to bring up last hits and denies, but not sure. I do think Limmy was the camera perspective for all of LD and Limmy's games during the preliminaries. But anyway, I guess a little bit of a useless fact. Anyway, so XY continues to stack and pull, so doing a great job denying XP to this Broodmother. She's level 4, but Ice already level 5, and he's split a little bit of XP with XY as well, you have to remember. So Lacoste nowhere near you know, the sort of level that Pycat and HY are getting on this middle lane, both almost level 6. But both teams playing reasonably passively right now. Troll Trap up for Ake, so it looks like we're going to have a little bit of a go on Loda, but good defensive ward, spotting that out. Does drop off now, so had Ake just waited another 20 seconds, Loda would not have known about that. But it looks like he might just wait it out. Still a fair way off level 5, so there's not going to be 2 creeps for just a little bit, so really wants to get this gank off right now. And Loda needs to be extremely careful. But yeah, both teams, they both have junglers. They're both going to be playing reasonably passive early game. So not all that surprising that we have not had a first blood just yet. And Misery getting reasonable farm down on bottom lane as well, up to 2.3k in terms of his net worth. Ice, most farmed here on the map right now. Already picked up that Ring of Health, so spawn Spiderlings is going to be absolutely no problem. And Lacoste still not even to that Soul Ring just yet, getting really shut down in this lane. I mean, only 6 last hits for him, 1.3k net worth. And oh god, as I say that, kill on Loda down on bot. Looks like it might be another one on Pycat. Yep, HY picking that up. So CLG grabbing that first blood on Loda, but a response from Zenith. And again, I guess I increased my tally of missing first bloods. I just was not paying attention to the minimap. Sorry about that, guys. It is really embarrassing to miss these, but I guess that's the point of practice. It's one metric that I can improve on. But anyway, yeah, Lacoste still trying to get up to that Soul Ring, and I mean, we'll see. Zenith probably getting a little bit more out of this right now. You have 400 gold, 400 gold the advantage, and pretty much even in terms of XP. TP heading towards mid lane. And Misery now level 6 has that has Ball Lightning up, so it looks like they're going to be going for a little bit of a gank. Ake moving into position as well, and HY needs to be careful. Has Invoke off cooldown, so could always go into that Ghost Walk, but it really depends on him not dying in the duration of the disable. And Misery now moving forward, roll, but immediately has Dust as well, so he gets the Vortex off. HY gonna be going down here. One more right click is gonna do it. So yeah, Misery not quite seeing that he had some Dust, so able to stop the immediate Ghost Walk. Great reaction from HY, but CLG going to grab that kill. And down on bot, Miracle now able to get a little bit of farm up to level 6, so has that Ravage online. And Loda's still just happily farming away with the Ion Shell. Misery going to be camping out for that 8-minute room, but it does spawn up top, so that's going to be double damage. And Anti-Mage just continues to farm, and they really need to keep an eye on this. Pycat's going to farm up as well, but I mean, Anti-Mage is pretty much getting complete free farm while Pycat is having to fight for it on mid, and it does just show up in the gold difference. And Pycat having that death as well, sort of evening it out a little bit with the kill, but trailing reasonably in terms of gold right now. And okay, so here's my only gripe with the net worth graph. As soon as you buy something and it's on the courier, then it doesn't count as part of your net worth. So Pycat, those are his boots. So as soon as he picks up his boots, you'll see his net worth jump by 500 gold. Yep, so jumps up above. So there are moments where the net worth graph is a little bit inaccurate because it doesn't give you really the whole picture in terms of what a hero has earned. I mean, there's always the potential that the courier will die, but there's no real way to lose that value. I mean, items no longer drop on the ground when the courier dies, so I guess that's my one little gripe with the net worth graph. Anyway, both teams sort of returned to playing fairly passively, and it's not really clear who the late game favors right now. It looks like it's going to be a little bit of go on the cost, and going to get glimpsed back into the telekinesis in the call as well. Should be going down here. Battle Hunger on top. Ice is going to pick up that last hit with the Mana Void. And X Freedom now just coming out of the jungle. Finished up his Tranquil Boots. So probably going to be 2 towers up on top for Zenith unless there's a reaction from CLG. Miracle already heading up there. He's finished up his Mana Boots. But it might take a little bit more than that just to stop this. Lacoste going to be respawning in just a second, and Spiderling's holding off the creeps a little bit for now, but CLG definitely running around the map a little bit more than Zenith are right now. And Zenith just happy to leave Loda down on bot. He's in no trouble whatsoever. Tower taking about 1/3 of its health, but not going to be worried about that. And it's really just how great Darkseer is on this hard lane solo. It's extremely difficult to push up against him. 2 Ion Shells absolutely ruins it. But Misery going to go for the Vortex. TP support is immediately coming in, and Misery now going to back off. Fairly low on mana, but did significant damage to Loda there. And Ice getting slowed down by the Spiderlings up on top. Still has that blink, so not going to be all that worried. But Miracle now up here just to try and help out Lacoste. But Freedom and XY coming in from the side. Spiderlings just spotting it out, so I'm going to be fine to back off. And Lacoste just needs to be extremely careful with his Spiderlings. If a couple of them get called by X Freedom, then there's going to be spins galore, and he should be close to hitting that internal cooldown. And so Pycat going to pick up a tower on the middle lane, but both teams still just playing a reasonably slow game of Dota. They've both got carries that they're waiting for in the late game, and history does sort of favor the Morphling in these games, as far as I know from the statistics of the International. So we will have to see. I mean, in the Anti-Mage versus Morphling sort of carry lineup, I do think the Morphling has the slight edge in terms of the stats, but obviously that doesn't really paint the whole picture. Anyway, so HY has now moved down towards bot. Loda getting some farm now on mid, but Zenith doing a great job of just taking care of that hard lane solo. I mean, Darkseer is one of the best hard lane solos in the game and does get them, you know, a lot out of the hard lane, or as much as there is to get. But he still needs a little bit of recovery time to either head into the jungle or just head into a slightly safer lane to get some XP and some items up as well. And CLG now farming reasonably well, taking the top 2 spots on the net worth right now. But again, well, see, there you go. Ice getting items shipped out, but gonna get gone on by the Vortex right now. Lacoste pops up the ultimate as well, but Ice is a little bit too tanky. Gonna be fine to blink out, and TP support coming in from X Freedom as well. Misery just gonna try and bottle up right now for a little bit of mana. And Lacoste just hiding in the web, waiting at the Battle Hunger. And Battle Hunger on Misery as well. That is a rank 4 Battle Hunger. It's doing more damage than Doom. And X Freedom, is he going to go down here? Mana Void does a ton of damage. It looks like the cost is going to go down as well. Maybe just to this Battle Hunger. Not going to be able to salve through it either. Yep, does go down. Oh, that was such a huge Mana Void. And just completely turned that around. Miracle comes up. Goes for the Gush, but Freedom still a little bit too tanky. Pops off the Ravage as well. Picks up that kill. But now stuck behind the tower. Getting hit by the tower. And Ice doing a ton of damage. And is Miracle going to trade his life away here? Tornado flies through, does find him. Pycat waiting off to the side, cold snap on him. All HY is one more last strike, well, one more right click, and XY actually grabbing that, coming in from the opposite direction. And Pycat just going to wave down to the low ground, but gets glimpsed straight back, and still 5 seconds until that morph cooldown. Going to start morphing strength, but Anti-Mage burning away his mana. Getting blocked a little bit by the wolves there, a cold snap on top as well. Pycat completely out of mana and should be going down here. And yeah, Ice picking up that kill. So Zenith now up to a 3-kill advantage. And this game is looking good for them. X Freedom opting for the Tranquil Boots and Energy Booster build, so he can just freely disassemble and swap between the two of them to have Arcane Boots and Tranquil Boots. So a good combination of health and mana. And Battle Hunger Axe, he does really need a lot of mana support. You know, without a couple of pairs of Arcane Boots or something like that, then he's not going to have enough to cast his ultimate reliably. And I will just blow my nose. Sorry, guys. Do my best to move away for this. Yeah, as I said, a little bit of a cold right now. But anyway, back to the game. So Zenith, right now, they're down a tower, but they're up a number of kills. 3 kills, so gold should be a little bit in there. Oh, actually a little bit in the Radiant advantage right now. Almost 500 gold, but 3k XP in their favor. So those kills really showing up on the scoreboard. And Ice just getting fantastic farm this game. I mean, 3 kills, no deaths, 2 assists. So he's participated in 5 of the 6 kills over on Zenith, and this is going to be one scary anti-mage this game. Already has his Battle Fury up, and he's had that for a little bit, so he is just going to be farming ridiculously from this point on, and there's a ton of tower gold left for Zenith to take as well. Ice blinking forward aggressively onto Lacoste, but web move speed going to keep him safe. But there should be a tower for Zenith unless there's some TP support coming in. It looks like CLG just want to trade down on bot. EMP going to land perfectly on Miracle. He's going to be sent back to base. So we'll see if that's the end of CLG's push down on bot. And Ion Shell just shredding Misery. Looks like Zenith are going to be able to grab this tier 1 up on top. Lacoste moving into position, still has the spawn Spiderlings to try and scare people off. And the fortification pops. TP support coming in as well. And Miracle immediately getting battle hungered. X Freedom just going to try and TP home. Going to be fine to do so. And Pycat moving in from behind with that Invis rune. But then Hand of God popping off down on bot. Invoker picking up a kill on Misery. And great Static Storm on top of the Storm Spirit to finish him off. And again, another kill missed by me. I'm not sure where my head is at tonight. Sorry about that, guys. We'll see if Ice is going to be in any trouble at all. Gush onto him. Has the blink. Pycat just waiting off in the back, but Ice blinks safely up into the trees. Miracle going to go chase him, and Lacoste chopping down the trees with the web. Spawn Spiderlings there. Loda comes up. Spiraler is doing quite a bit of damage to the tower, but Freedom and Loda are in here, and the Ion Shell plus the Battle Hunger is just doing so much damage to Miracle, and the Axe Ultimate finishes him off. Pycat gonna try and get the Replicate out of there, but it's gonna take quite a bit of damage, jumping a very short distance, but EMP over the top, not gonna be able to morph that much strength, and gonna get immediately huge glimpse back, straight into the kinetic field. Miser gonna try and do what he can, but the call is on Pycat right now. We'll see if he's able to make it out of here. Looks like he will actually be able to make it out. HY picked off by Miser, who is fairly low on mana right now. And there is no more glimpses, so. 2 for 2 the trade, an Invoker and Anti-Mage going down for the Broodmother and the Tidehunter. Not all that bad a trade. And Tier 1 on bot does just go down. So tower is evened up right now. And Miser, he's taking so much damage between the Battle Hunger and the Ion Shell. And even just some creeps there. I mean, Storm fairly squishy, I mean, especially with Agi treads up, just trying to get the most out of his bottle. So, needs to be careful. Great damage potential and good ganks, but we'll have to see. He's probably going to fall off a little bit in the late game. And Pycat, he's been doing a lot of wandering around the map. Again, Zenith have really not broken formation. They've kept the anti-mage farming. They've not gone for anything overly aggressive. They've really got a great game plan. And Replicate up, so just going to harass Ice back. And does not want to have his mana burned away, but Replicate turning around in the tower. 4 heroes down on bot for CLG, so it looks like they want to pick up another tier 1 tower right now. Maybe make up a little bit for the kill deficit that they're facing right now, but pushing up against a Quaswex Invoker is just not fun. Looks like the tier 1 is going to be going down, but tier 1 on top maybe in exchange. The cost taking a ton of damage from that Ion Shell. So CLG pick up the tier 1 down on bot, and just load up here pushing on top. Little bit of a reaction right now from Zenith. And Blink Dagger already picked up on X-Raid. EMP down, but Misery rolling straight past, going on HY, who immediately goes into the Ghost Walk. Waveform managing to hit him, but we'll see if they're able to find him. So no, he's going to be fine to just slink away. Miracle now battle hungered up, and more heroes in here for Zenith. Is there going to be a vacuum back? Tornado flies through, hits perfectly onto Pycat, and kinetic field down, but Misery's going to be sent back to base. And good stun backwards onto X-Freedom. Pycat eating the Battle Hunger and the Cold Snap. Ice now in from the side. Mana Void onto Pycat. Still has that Battle Hunger up. Hand of God popping it off, but not enough to save him. And Zenith just continue to chase. This Axe is doing a fantastic amount of work this game. And the Battle Hunger is just absolutely terrifying. With the Ion Shell DPS as well, there's just so many ways to get the full damage out of that Cold Snap for the Quaswex Invoker. And the cost just getting right-clicked down by Ice needs to hide in the web. And HY finding the Invis rune, so 20-minute rune picked up by him, but Lacoste, again, he's just not finding anything up on this top lane. I mean, 20 minutes in, tier 1 tower, still not down, and Broodmother is just not a hero that's going to leave her lane and come and participate in teamfights. It's not her role in the game, but she might have to just to try and deal with this soon. Good deny by Lacoste, and TP coming in for a Miracle, but Ice going to be fine just to blink away. And HY keeping tabs on Misery right now. And X-Freedom moving into position as well. Still has that blink forward call. Going to be doing a ton of damage to Misery and the Static Storm on top. EMP as well. Ake not able to do anything there. So good gank by Zenith. And Miracle coming in from the side, but Zenith are just ganking his 2 or 3 heroes at a time. They don't really want to take the head-on teamfights. And CLG, they've got good teamfight abilities. They've got the Ravage, they've got the Hand of God, so they've got big ways to swing these fights one way or the other. But Zenith, they're just maneuvering around the map perfectly and finding pickoffs here, there, and everywhere. And so extending their kill lead to 6 right now. And completely taking control of the Radiant jungle as well. There's just no reaction right now for CLG. And they can't pull Lacoste off top lane. He's heading towards a BKB, so Mithril Hammer picked up on him. So giving him a little bit more team fight presence, and a little bit more of an option to use that ultimate. But Zenith, they're fine to just keep pushing as they are, and they've always got Loda or the anti-mage, someone like that, just keeping pressure on another lane as they go 4-man in the other, in one of the other side lanes. And they can afford to do it exactly because of the Broodmother. I mean, Lacoste, Broodmother, normally when the other team is going 5-man somewhere else and looking for a team fight, that's when you grab towers, that's when you force them to TP back and react to you. But right now, Zenith are timing everything perfectly so that they're not even losing their tier 1s on top while still managing to take these engagements. And Miracle just getting harassed out a lot. Glimpse backwards into the kinetic field, but going to be sent back home by Ake, so going to be fine to make it out. HY throwing a long tornado, but nobody in that direction. But again, Ice, he's already up here and shutting down the push from the Broodmother tower, down at about a quarter HP, but there's nothing that Brood can do against the anti-mage, so it's completely free farm for him while he's up here. And she can't even keep the Spiderlings nearby because the Battle Fury cleave is just clearing them up. I mean, 10.7k net worth, last hits and denies, 196, so Spiderlings padding that out a little bit, but Ice is going to be fine to push unless there's reaction from at least another CLG hero. Misery coming up, has that Orchid, so going to use it. Vortex on top as well, so going to be able to pick Ice off here, and good TP in as well from Pycat. So, Orchid online, so Misery is definitely a force to be reckoned with against the anti-mage, and a great counter. So Lacoste doesn't need to pick up an Orchid himself, but CLG pick up a kill, but it looks like they're going to lose a tower in the process. Miracle has that Ravage online, and they've popped the Glyph of Fortification. Zenith are a hero down right now, but Lacoste is not going to come in. Good force that 4. Ravage on top as well. Hits on 4 to Loda. Looks like he's going to be going down here, and the Orchid on him as well. Misery roll forwards, picks him off. X-Freedom stuck in the middle of this. Vortex backwards. Hand of God pops off, so X-Freedom going to be going down as well. So 2 kills for CLG. And Misery going to be sent back to base, and Lacoste actually TPing in that fight. So Zenith taking a fight, a man down, and not coming off that well for it. Almost grabbing that tier 2, but CLG managing to swing things back in their favor. So gold still a little bit in favor of the Dire, but only 1.5k, so not hugely significant at this point in the game. But 5k XP. Even after that fight, they're a little bit behind right now in terms of XP, and I mean Ice is already level 16, so he is just doing a ton of damage, and Ake, I mean level 10 over on the Radiant side, needs to be extremely careful. And the level 3 Mana Void as well, it really hurts. It's, Storm Spirit and everybody playing against a Quaswex Invoker with the EMP, they're all going to be fairly low on mana. So if Ice can find any heroes next to each other, and I mean Vacuum is such a great setup, and Axe is going to be able to hold them there, so we might see a couple of 2 or 3 man Mana Voids. So Zenith will just retreat right now. Ice looks like he's fairly close to his Manta style, and yet is flying in right now. So again, huge jump in net worth for him, up to 11.8k. How is Pycat's farm going? He's finished up his Linkens, so able to be a little bit more active in these team fights. But again, he's been roaming around a little bit and dying off 3 times as well. So Lacoste finally grabbing that tier 1 up on top with the Spiderlings, and a little bit of help from Misery. But Zenith just heading straight into the Roshan pit, and going to be picking this off absolutely no problem. Ice with the Aegis and the Manta style up as well. He's really becoming a monster in these team fights, and in this reasonably slow-paced game, Zenith are really just cementing their advantage. X-Freedom with the blink forward onto Misery, taking quite a bit of damage himself. Misery trying to roll out. Good ravage by Misery, and Loda's going to be picked up as well. Ice blink in with the Mana Void, killing off Misery. Static Storm on top of Pycat, taking a lot of damage, and Zenith now a little bit on the retreat. But CLG, they've popped off their ultimates as well, so we'll have to see if they want to keep going for this. And Ice is going to have to retreat. Still has that Aegis, however. But a good team fight for CLG, picking up 2 for 1. Unfortunate they couldn't really find anything to cement it after that skirmish. But they popped off the Hand of God, they popped the Ravage as well. So realizing that they need to be careful. And again, Ice at this point in the game is just absolutely a monster. And again, cold getting the better of me, guys. So just blow my nose and keep one eye on the mini map. Sorry about this. But anyway, back to the game. So we'll have to see what CLG can do from here. I mean, Broodmother is still just trying to recover. She's got the BKB up, but Axe is reasonable CC against a BKB anyway. And even with that insatiable hunger, she's having to fight up against the extremely mobile anti-mage. And I mean, the team fight from Zenith is just ridiculous. It's going to be hard for Lacoste to find an opportunity to just sit in that BKB with the insatiable hunger up and just try and right click. And Zenith forming up right now for a little bit of a push down the bottom lane. And they realize that the Ravage is on cooldown for another 40 seconds, so should be fine to pick up this tier 2. Yeah, Ice, blink forward. Gonna pick that up. Pycat, just a little bit of harassment, and the Tornado gonna fly through as well, but he's just gonna jump to his replicant. Okay, gonna be glimpsed back, out of position 4 seconds ago, and gonna be picked off just because of that. And Glimpse is just so ridiculous. And Ice able to just blink forward and immediately pop off the Manta, start wailing on this tower. TP support is coming back right now, Lacoste is here, but tier 3 is already down to half health. We'll see if CLG are able to take this Ravage now off cooldown. So see if they're going to go for this now. Miracle, good force staff in. Ravage hits on top as well. HY going to be picked up. Good center stomps too. But the kinetic field, the Thunderdome is out. And 4 heroes dead for CLG. Buyback for Misery. Lacoste, is he going to be able to make it out? Just slinking away for now. Misery, huge roll in. Playing out of his mind. And getting sent back to base as well. So good team play there. Didn't even realize what happened. Pycat chasing XY right now. But huge teamfight swing either way. But CLG paying a couple of buybacks for that there. And oh god. Trying to see who bought back, but Pycat picking off XY in the back there. So Misery. Great play by him there. I mean, the buyback and just immediately rolling huge damage and picking off a few heroes from Zenith. It really would have been their tier 3 and maybe a Rex. Otherwise, the combo of just Axe standing dead in the middle of the kinetic field with the static storm on top, 4 heroes trapped for CLG. It was just absolutely brutal. There's nothing that you can do. I mean, nothing but right click Axe if he's got you called. There's no spells. There's no escaping. And I mean, Miracle's freedom. Miracle's force staff was on cooldown anyway from initiating the fight, so there was definitely no escape. And was even the Aegis pop? No, so Ice up to 5.4k gold on him, still has that Aegis, so he is just doing absolutely ridiculously this game. I mean, as always, the Storm Spirit, good potential to lock him down and disable him, but he's able to Manta out of the Orchid's silence, so Vortex, the real only reliable way to keep him locked down right now for CLG. And Pycat opting to head towards a Manta, so picked up his Yasha and Recipe as well, so it just needs to grab that Ultimate Ore, and we'll have that. And it's such a great item for Morphling, especially if they can get a few pickoffs. There's no Roshan for them to take, so being able to grab a few towers is a great way to cement their lead after maybe a successful team fight. But Ice is just becoming even more monstrous. I mean, picked up outright buying a Heart of Tarask, so 2.4k HP with the spell shield as well. He's just going to be so difficult to take down, and focusing him at this point is just maybe not the right idea, but if you don't, he's just going to be picking off your heroes one by one. And Zenith going for a little bit of a smoke right now. So should be able to pick off at least one, and if they do, it will probably be the tier 3 down on bot. Lane not pushed out just yet, but momentum favors them right now. And Misery picking up that double damager, and so CLG actually all retreating up towards top lane. Not sure if this smoke is going to find anyone. And Highcat stopping off at the Ancients. He's going to be fine. Has that replicate up. So we'll see what Zenith do. Smoke duration is almost up, so maybe just going to retreat back for now. And using Loda as bait on the middle lane, Ice 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 reveals himself off just to get a little bit more farm, but he's so ridiculously beefy, and he's going to have a full inventory soon as well, if he's keeping a spot for the Aegis. And next thing to go is going to have to be his TP. CLG in from the side. They've got the Ravage off cooldown, so this could be a good opportunity for them. But Zenith grouping up in the mid lane, going for a little bit of a push. And TP back from Ice 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 right now. This is a good opportunity for CLG, and the roll onto Loda. Orchid on him as well. Vortex Loda gonna be picked off here, and Zenith immediately gonna retreat out. 3 TP straight back to base, and HY gonna be fine to get out as well. Not gonna take that team fight 4v5. So a big pick off for CLG, but there's nothing for them to pick up because of it. Lanes are all pushed out. So all they can do is just jump into their jungle for a little bit and farm up. I mean, the only tier 2 that they've got left to take is this one down on the bottom lanes, so both teams are really looking to go high ground right now. Gold advantage, 3k in favor of the Radiant right now, actually, and CLG have evened up that kill difference really, really well. XP pretty much dead even. It's still really anyone's game, but the big deciding factor to me is really going to be Ice Ice Ice. And the cost picking up a Demon Edge, so see if he's gonna go for an MKB, or maybe just buy a Rapier as a bit of an all-in move. Just trying to do whatever they can to pick up this anti-mage as quickly as possible. But if he bought that up and loses it, it's gonna be a big blow. It would really be a sort of all or nothing. But CLG picking up that last outer tower for Zenith. Tier 2 on mid falling as well for the Dire. So again, one tier 2 left. It's really coming down to the battle of the tier 3s and Roshan as well, who's going to be up in just a minute. So we'll see if Zenith try and do anything with the Aegis that they have for now, or maybe just back off, take care of their lanes, and then take the next engagement sort of at the Roshan pit. Maybe try and get a pick off before that point, but we'll have to see. And Loda has his mech finished up and heading towards a pipe as well, so another big item that's going to be helping them go for these tier 3 pushes. And again, Ice 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 keeps farming. 2.9k gold on him, and the cost still not really giving away what he's doing with that Demon Edge. Maybe just saving for buyback, but again, could be heading for that Rapier. And if it's the Rapier, it's going to be extremely decisive one way or the other. So we'll have to see. Zenith may be thinking about doing something with this Aegis right now, but I think Roshan's just about to respawn in just a few seconds. So again, just getting their lanes pushed out for now, and trying to make sure they have enough time to clean up this Roshan reasonably uncontested. Yeah, and CLG pushed back into the base. Misery getting that top lane pushed out a little bit, and doesn't actually have a TP ready, so he's going to have to waddle all the way back to wherever they're going. But both teams extremely aware of the Roshan timer, or the Spiderite timer, I guess. But oh, XY gonna be picked off by Misery, but getting the Static Storm off just in time. Ice 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 gonna pick him off. Lacoste right clicking in the middle of this. Great Ravage popped off by Miracle. Hits on 4. X Freedom almost gonna be picked off. Mech popped off by Loda. Vacuum in. Wall on top. Waveform forward by Pycat. Ice 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 standing his ground. Now on their retreat. Completely out of mana. Loda taking a ton of damage from those Pycat illusions. And Lacoste now comes back for Ice Ice Ice. Not enough mana for him to blink out right now. And looks like he's gonna be picked off. Spawn Spiderlings finishing him off. And Zenith grabbing 4 kills. And Misery now back up as well. Ice 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 gonna buy back. So there's the threat of the Blink and Aegis steal, but looks like it's gonna be a Roshan for CLG. Excellently team fought in that last engagement, and Misery just maybe coming in from an angle that Zenith did not expect, picking off XY and not letting them get off the full combo as they would have hoped. It was a little bit less organized for Zenith than the team fights that we have seen. And Illusion's heading in, but Misery immediately going to pick up that Aegis. So able to play even more aggressively right now. And what has... so 2 Javelins picked up, so MKB going to be on the way for Lacoste. And maybe just preempting the Butterfly a little bit on that Anti-Mage. But looks like he is actually heading towards a Basher, so... Or it could be an MKB for him as well. We'll have to see. But well team fought by CLG, and they're definitely right back in this game. It's still anybody's game. I mean, 7.5k gold in the Radiant's favor right now, and 7.5k XP. They're in a reasonably commanding position, and they've got the Aegis advantage up as well. They have spent the Ravage, and it's 40 seconds away, so it should be up for this next little bit of a push. But we'll see if they try and defend the tier 2 up on top. Probably, well, maybe just gonna let it fall for free. Don't want to take an engagement that they might lose when they don't really stand to win anything by risking it. It's just the tier 2, and giving away the game for a tier 2 is, well, risking the game for a tier 2. Just not a great decision. But so we're gonna go for a little bit of a split push down a bot, but trying to keep an eye on who is up, well, who is around for Zenith. And all of Zenith just hiding in the trees right now. Ice, trying to maybe bait out Misery to roll an Orchid on him, and he would just immediately pop the Manta, but as heroes are revealed off, Misery goes up onto the high ground and will just jump out and roll back to base as he baits those TPs back from Zenith. So both teams maneuvering so carefully, and every single ultimate on the map off cooldown right now, so it's extremely tense. It's all about getting lanes pushed out and trying to get in a good position to take a fight, or maybe just getting your opponent out of position. So be ready for smoke ganks and be ready for big disruptor plays. I mean, if anybody is out of position 4 seconds ago, then there's always the potential for disruptor to just yank them back, and that's the start of a team fight. And no, I love this. The pennants to me really reflect the state of this game. Both teams are so evenly matched, and it could still go either way. Misery picking up that Scythe device, so big opportunities for him, and Nahastran as well. CLG now moving his position. Looks like they want to go for a push, and they've got all of their ultimates off cooldown in an organized engagement. If they can just avoid the big wombo combo from Zenith, then they should be fine. Well, they should be reasonably likely to take this, but pushing up against a Quaswex Invoker and a Darkseer is not a fun prospect. So looks like they're just going to get their lanes pushed out for now, but there's no point in waiting around for the Roshan. Both teams are just going to be maybe trying to finish up a couple of items, but they've both sort of got equal farming room at the same time, so it's really going to come down to that single decision to take a team fight, and how that 10-15 second window plays out. Ice pops off the Manta style, so he does not have a way to get out of the Orchid for now, but Misery is trying to do a little bit of split pushing up on top lanes. So both of the really survivable, maneuverable heroes just split pushing against one another right now, and neither team are feeling comfortable enough about their position to try and push up into the enemy base. And they've both got good defensive team fight as well, so pushing up onto the high ground against a Ravage and a Storm who has the potential to buy back and immediately be back to the fight. Well, no buyback for him right now, but has the Aegis, so yeah, it's extremely tense right now. And had had that fight mid and the Roshan gone the other way, then CLG would be in a much worse position right now, but Zenith may be having to play a little bit more cautiously. Ice now finished up that Skull Basher, so gonna be to his Abyssal Blade reasonably soon. And a good way to get to the BKB on the cost. How long does he have left? So 8 seconds. 8 seconds on that BKB, so still plenty of duration left for him. And I really like his build. I mean, didn't really do sort of fantastically in that hard lane, and couldn't find the time while Zenith were pulled away from other lanes to pick up those towers. So now opting for a more teamfight oriented build, realizing that he's not going to be the big split pusher in these fights, and just needs to get as much right click damage out as he possibly can. Tide Illusion, gonna bait out a few spells, but immediately picked off. And Pycat still has the replicate up, nice and safe, so we'll see how this plays out. Misery again trying to split push a little bit on the top lane, but all of Zenith down on bot, and CLG aggressive moves forward. Miracle smoked up, still not revealed just yet, and a big roll through by Misery. HY getting picked off immediately, but the Thunderdome is down. Ravage on top. Lacoste right clicking, Ice right clicking against Lacoste. X-Freedom trying to pop up his ultimate, but he's going to go down. Big Mana Void as well. Miracle getting right clicked for now. Is he going to be able to make it out? Those anti-mage illusions are still chasing him, but 4 heroes dead. CLG, great work for them. HY now buying back. So four kills for CLG, and did they even lose the Aegis in that? No, so they've still got that up. Unfortunately, not going to be able to get to any lane to try and push up to the tier 3s before those heroes respawn. 30 seconds on Axe and Darkseer, and just spreading out around the map for now. So not going to be going for a push, but another fantastic team fight for CLG, and extending their gold lead to the 10k and 15k the XP difference as well. So such an exciting game. I mean, it still really is anybody's game. Pycat now picked up that Eagle Song, so maybe just heading towards a Butterfly. Probably a little bit too late for the shotgun. But CLG, they're going to go high ground. Ice, still dead for now, but buying back, and the EMP Deafening Blast down as well. Loda zipping forward, Ice blinking, but now Misery getting pulled straight back by that glimpse and right into the call. Is he going to be picked off? Tries to roll out, but Aegis pops off. Ice now forced to retreat. Pycat doing good right click damage with the Static Storm down on top. Lacoste, BK beat up, right clicking onto X-Freedom, but needs to go through the ice wall. BKB is up, says no problem whatsoever. Misery wants the pick off. Is he going to be able to get out of there? Fairly low on mana. It looks like he might be going down here. Cold Snap plus the tower hits, gonna finish him off. So 1 for 1 dead right now, and looks like CLG are going to retreat. But such tense fights. Misery going down twice, so the Aegis burned off. So CLG gonna back off for now, and I think both teams may be just gonna wait around until the next Roshan. And neither team wanting to risk too much, but again, even in the little bit of an advantageous position that CLG were holding, pushing up into the base against a Darkseer and a Quaswex Invoker, and again the Disruptor. If you're out of position 4 seconds ago, you're out of position. It's so dangerous, and I'm surprised that we just don't see him more as a pick. Glimpse is absolutely great, Kinetic Field is absolutely great, and Static Storm is fantastic as well. So Zenith looking to tighten the screws a little bit right now, putting the pressure on 2 lanes. Pycat going to be split pushing up on top, but forced to TP back now as Zenith converge on 2 tier 3s. X-Freedom going to take a little bit of time to get back towards mid, but Zenith immediately going high ground. This tier 3 was already damaged earlier, and the Alacrity on Anti-Mage as well. Tier 3 going down, Tornado through. Ice doing what damage he can to the melee barracks, and CLG, it looks like they need to go for something now. Gonna sacrifice off the racks. Miracle faking the Ravage, but the Static Storm and the Kinetic Field down. Zenith got what they came for. XY maybe gonna get picked up. Good Deafening Blast by HY, but XY just turning around, sacrificing his life. Huge roll through from Misery, and HY looks like he's gonna be picked off here. Vortex as well, gonna secure that kill. So 2 kills for CLG, but losing that Rax, and that's just going to require constant attention from here on out. The 2 pickups might buy them Roshan, so exchanging a Rax for 2 kills and a Rosh, it could really go either way for them. They definitely need to keep paying attention to this bottom lane from this point on. But with 2 heroes dead, this should be a reasonably uncontested Roshan. Invoker does have buyback, XY does not, so yeah. And Roshan going down oh so quickly, so Aegis and Cheese for CLG. Ice just trying to do a little bit of split pushing up on top. But yeah, Misery gonna grab that Aegis again, and who has the cheese? Pycat does, and he's also finished up his butterfly, so this is really becoming late game Dota. And the positioning on the big spells and the positioning of the carries, and just who amongst the squishies is going to be picked off early. I mean, while you don't really think of the hard supports as maybe so important at this point in the game, but Ake with that Hand of God or any of XY's abilities can be complete teamfight changers if they're able to get them off. So positioning for these supports is just so vital. They need to be extremely careful. And will cost up to 3.9k gold, so probably just holding on for buyback again. It's really getting to that point in the game. And Miracle picked up an Oblivion Staff, so it looks like he's going to be going towards a Refresher Orb right now. And Misery 3.5k again for him. Just going to check the buyback stats. So most of the Radiant do have buyback available right now. And Loda and HY also over on the Dire. And Ice 3.8k gold, so just needs to wait at that cooldown for now. And Lacoste getting stunned up, down on bot, BKB'd up, but looks like he's going to be picked off right now. And 90 seconds for him, as again has that buyback available, but looks like CLG are just going to be trying to push up on top. Maybe going to give away the ranged barracks to see if they can pick up a tier 3. So Misery going to stay here, as always, able to just roll away and TP back, but Zenith are immediately going onto the high ground. And the Alacrity Anti-Mage just does not care about backdoor protection. So ranged barracks picked off. Buyback actually baited out from Lacoste. And Misery rolling straight in. Static Storm not quite landing on him. But the Mana Void immediately killing him off. Miracle with the Force Staff forward, but not able to find the Ravage. And Ice Wall down. It's going to be a long chase. Misery back in the fight, but again taking a ton of damage. X-Freedom aggressive going forward. Ravage pops over the top. X-Freedom picked off right now. And then Ice just going to blink off. Wall doing a lot of work, but Zenith continued to retreat. And the kinetic field giving them a means to do so. Tornado thrown down as well. So Illusion's just going to be holding on to CLG for now. But Zenith got what they came for. Trading away a single kill and grabbing off Misery as well. Ake gonna get glimpsed back. He's gonna be picked off as well. Lacoste also dead, so more and more kills for Zenith, and this looks like it could be another Rax. Ice gonna be picked off by Misery and Pycat, but he's immediately gonna be buying back. And really prolonged team fight there. Both teams thinking they can get a little bit more out, and Ice only trading that buyback, but CLG, they've pretty much got to wait the full duration on the rest of their heroes, and that Broodmother being down for a whole minute could mean another Rex. Rosh not going to be up for a long time, so we'll have to see what Zenith are able to make of this, and just backing off for now. And Anti-Mage purchasing up that Abyssal Blade, doesn't have buyback, so no point in holding on to the gold. Roll forward onto HY, but Misery taking a ton of damage and didn't even get hit by the Abyssal Blade. Oh, well, did he? No, Abyssal Blade used, so picking off Misery. He's going to buy back again. But Ice just doing so much damage to this tower. Mana Style popped off. Misery comes back into the fight, but the Static Storm down over the top of him. He's going to be going down. So more and more heroes dead for CLG. Not able to completely regroup to try and take this fight. But meanwhile, all of Zenith are up. And just going to back off for now, but the pressure should be back on in just a second. And not gonna the cost's going to be up, but they're not going to wait around for Misery to respawn. And tier 3 already on really low health. They should be able to break that absolutely no problem. I'm still waiting around 20 seconds for this Ravage. And Ice just blinking for it, absolutely no problem. Wall down straight on top of the tier 3. They know what they want. And the Rack's taking a ton of damage as well. CLG is just not in a position to defend and waiting for that Ravage cooldown. But they need 10 seconds. Trying to harass back for now. Trying to get Zenith away from the high ground. And Ake forced to pop off the Ghost Scepter because of the aggressive blink from Ice. But Zenith gonna grab another Rax uncontested. Now the Ravage is off cooldown. Hits on 2. X-Freedom blinks forward. Pycat BKB'd up, but still grabbed by the call. X-Freedom probably going to be going down here, but Misery still just sitting on the sidelines. And melee barracks are already dead, so Zenith going to be fine. They got what they came for again, and just going to back off for now. Maybe regroup a little bit. Ravage is on cooldown, so teamfight much more winnable for them, and the Hand of God popped off as well. So Zenith just playing this absolutely perfectly, and I mean, what can Ice buy up? I mean, he is so ridiculously farmed, and even just the duration of the Abyssal Blade with the Manta style illusions can pick off almost anyone on CLG. I mean, Storm's mobility is just not matching up right now, and Pycat gonna pass that cheese off to Misery. He really is their initiate, but the instant static Storm is absolutely ruining him in these team fights. Not able to use the ball lightning as much as he would really like. So Zenith, they have really secured a good advantage right now, and CLG with the smoke trying to see if they can grab a pick off. And with 1 or 2 heroes dead, they could do the exact same thing that Zenith just did to them, but it was a question of CLG just could not find their footing again after these prolonged team fights and heroes being picked off left and right. And when you're at this point in the game and heroes are taking almost a minute, more than a minute to respawn, each death is extremely significant, and it's a huge window for the enemy team, especially when you need all of your abilities and ultimates online to be taking these fights. So Pycat split pushing a bit up on top, but Zenith, they are up here and looking for him, and HY in the Ghost Walk has that Scythe of Vice. So yeah, Morphling already heading back to base, suspecting that maybe something is up, or just rejoining his team. So Zenith not going to find anyone, but going to be going for this last melee barracks up on top. And again, Ravage almost off cooldown, so another really big scale engagement. But Invoker just is becoming more and more powerful. I mean, Darkseer is great throughout the game, and the wall is just turning CLG against themselves. I mean, the Pycat illusion is just going to be doing so much damage. And Tide, while he has the Ravage there, his other abilities are aren't doing as much as maybe even Save the Disruptor. Glimpse backwards for Pycat, and gets Force Staffed out and sent back to base. So good play, good defensive play by CLG. But Ice is up here, popped off the Manta illusions, and doing quite a bit of damage. But Zenith gonna retreat for now, not able to find the pickup. Big roll forward by Misery, and gonna try and get on Ice, but forced to run away for now. And the Cold Snap and Battle Hunger combo is just so lethal. So probably just gonna be heading back to base, setting up for another big roll to try and force Zenith back, but they've got everything online. That they might just keep poking forward and, you know, not committing and trying to force something out of CLG. If they can get the Ravage off cooldown and get out with everybody alive, then they're going to be in a great position to take this fight. And even if they can get Misery to maybe just roll that little bit too far away, you know, a little bit too much distance between him and his team, they could also get a great pickoff. But CLG now with a bit of a smoke, Gonna try and go onto XY. Ravage pops over the top. XY immediately picked up. Silence on Delota. Looks like he's gonna be going down here without getting too much off. Hand of God pops up over the top. Vacuum into the wall. CLG just taking so much damage right now, and Misery picked off already. Ake going down as well. Pycat BKB'd up, but hit by that Abyssal Blade. Slowed down by a fantastic Ice Wall from HY. Misery going down. Pycat now on the retreat. Morphing Strength pops off those illusions, but 3 heroes dead for CLG. Only the hard support dead for Zenith. And it looks like it's gonna be a tier 3 right now. Pycat trying to fight as best he can. Lacoste coming in. Loda doing quite a bit of damage. Pycat still right-clicking away. Ice actually gonna be picked up, but buyback straight away. Lacoste right-clicking on Delota. Does manage to get the surge off, but the spawn spiralings are gonna finish off him. And buyback from him as well. So they're gonna be heading straight back. And do CLG have buybacks right now? They do not, unfortunately. The cost has a buyback, but he's still alive. X-Frame looks like he's going to be picked off right now. Maybe just waiting for that blink cooldown now. HY able to keep him safe with the Ice Wall, and Ice isn't here. Lacoste maybe going to be forced to use this buyback, and Ice yet blinking forward. Lacoste not going to be able to make it out, and X-Frame fine to just teleport back to base. Buyback now from Lacoste, but no buybacks left for anyone, so what they have is what they've got for this next engagement. And Zenith, they know that the Roshan is up. We'll have to see if they go for anything or just go and grab that. No, so it looks like Zenith gonna back off, pick up that Roshan, and they're up 2 Raxes already, and they're both full Raxes now. Mid-ranged Rax getting picked off in the middle of all that commotion. So Zenith should be an easy Roshan for them right now. Miracle almost to his Refresher Orb, but not quite there just yet, and it could be a great opportunity to turn these fights around, but Roshan going down, so Cheese and Aegis now up for Zenith, and Ice with that Aegis of Immortal. He really has finished farming. So, and this anti-mage is just absolutely a terror in these fights, but this game is just so even, and one big team fight could still just win it all for CLG. They could head straight down mid and go for the throne again. Who's got buyback? Nobody does. Most heroes have quite a little way to farm or a bit of a cooldown to wait out as well, so this next team fight is really going to be the clincher. So we'll have to see what ends up happening. Every single ultimate off cooldown right now for both teams. Miracle moving forward, needs to be careful, really needs to hold on to that Ravage for the fight. Tier 3 almost picked off by the AM illusions, down to 2 health. Invoker actually picking those off with the long range Creator Eidolons. Forge Spirits. Lacoste now moving forward. BKB popped off. Misery rolling forward, but it looks like it's going to be a Static Storm down over the top. Lacoste and Misery trap. Vacuum, but into the wall as well. Miracle now getting that Ravage off, but 2 heroes already dead. Ice. Well, Aegis burn, but X-Freedom going to be likely picked off as well. Now pops off the Ghost Scepter, able to retreat off. HY walking back through the wall as well. So 3 dead for Zenith right now for only the Aegis, and Ice doesn't care about Ake, just wants the barracks right now, and that's going to be Mega Creeps for Zenith. So Fortification pops off, and Pycat trying to fight as best he can. Actually able to pick off a few heroes, but Lacoste gonna call the GG. Mega Creeps up for Zenith. So that is gonna be the end of such an exciting game. The Axe pick, the Disruptor, the back and forth trading, it was just absolutely great. So I'm just gonna wait for the final score screen for the sake of the VODs, but what a fantastic game. And I guess, yeah, no, just absolutely fantastic. So Zenith take both games of this set. Great play by them, but it really could have been anyone's game. So anyway, as always, I've been Baseskip. This was another set of my series of just daily casting practice. So this was CLG versus Zenith from the International Preliminaries, Day 2. Honestly, as always, apologies for any mistakes and things that I made. I know I missed a lot of kills in this game, and I'm sure I tripped over my words just as much. But again, the whole point of the practice is to improve. So if you'd like to leave me any feedback about how I can do so, please feel free to send me a message, leave a comment, anything like that. But aside from that, thanks for joining me, and I hope to see you again soon.